I'm Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
What do people give you for your birthday, given that you can buy anything you want?
Free software. Just kidding. Books actually.
What's your favorite book? Edit, a book recommendation from a billionaire. Cool. Thanks, Phil.
My favorite of the last decade in Pinker's Better Angels of Our Nature. It is long but profound look at the reduction in violence and discrimination over time. I review a lot of the books I read at gatesnotes.com. Is that too self-promotional? Link expired.
Anything left on your bucket list? Edit, thanks for responding. Is it too soon to put you as a reference on my resume?
Don't die.
Since becoming wealthy, what's the cheapest thing that gives you the most pleasure?
Kids. Cheap cheeseburgers. Open courseware courses.
Where are you acquiring these cheap kids from?
The Stork.
What is something that needs to be changed in the world, but money won't help?
It would be nice if all governments were as rational as the Nordic governments, reaching compromise and providing services broadly. The Economist had a nice special section on this last week. Africa governments have often been weak, but you can't write a check to change that. Fortunately, the average quality is going up. Mo Ibrahim tracks this in a great way. https://u.news/a7oz.
Hi, welcome to Reddit. What are your thoughts on the push against the open and free internet that we have been seeing in the recent past and present, such as SOPA, etc.?
There are two things this could reference. One is the free/pay for software mix. The internet has benefited from having lots of free stuff and lots of commercial software. It has been interesting to see people inventing hybrid models. Even stuff that is pretty commercial often has free versions for some audiences. Even the most open stuff often have services people choose to pay for. The second thing is the anonymous versus identified tension. This is another one where both will probably thrive, since you want anonymity for some things and full identity for others. I am surprised how little progress has been made in the identity space, but it will improve.
Can you still jump over chairs?
Less than I used to. It was part of exercise for snow skiing. I still ski, but I am not as hardcore.
Do you still code? If so, which language? Edit, thanks for the Reddit gold.
Not as much as I would like to. I write some C, C# and some BASIC. I am surprised new languages have not made more progress in simplifying programming. It would be great if most high school kids were exposed to programming.
What one Microsoft program or product that was never fully developed or released do you wish had made it to market?
We had a rich database as the client/cloud store that was part of a Windows release that was before its time. This is an idea that will re-emerge, since your cloud store will be rich with schema rather than just a bunch of files, and the client will be a partial replica of it with rich schema understanding.
What type of computer are you using right now?
I just got my Surface Pro a week ago and it is very nice. I am using a Perceptive Pixel display right now, huge Windows 8 touch whiteboard. These will come down in price over time and be pervasive. https://u.news/2z4cs.
How did you feel about your portrayal in Pirates of Silicon? https://u.news/OA878. And who do you want to play you next in a movie?
That portrayal was reasonably accurate.
Do you guys really use Bing? I mean, seriously.
Seriously, Bing is the better product at this point. Try the challenge. I am biased, but the work to make Bing better has been amazing.
How have other extremely wealthy people reacted to your excessively generous philanthropy?
I have enjoyed meeting other philanthropists and talking about what they work on. I think there is a movement to do more, start sooner, and be smarter about giving. Philanthropy is mostly about a broad set of people giving, but it helps if the most wealthy set a strong example.
What emerging technology today do you think will cause another big stir for the average consumer in the same way that the home computer did years ago?
Robots, pervasive screens, speech interaction will all change the way we look at computers. Once seeing, hearing, and reading, including handwriting, work very well, you will interact in new ways.
How was your relationship with Steve Jobs? I always hoped that y'all were really good friends and competitors.
He and I respected each other. Our biggest joint project was the Mac, where Microsoft had more people on the project than Apple did, as we wrote a lot of applications. I saw Steve regularly over the years, including spending an afternoon with him a few months before he tragically passed away.
Which worldwide health cause are we perfectly capable of easily solving and on the cusp of achieving, but just need to put it over the top with a little more attention or resources to actually solve?
Polio is the first thing to get done, since we are close. Within 6 years we will have the last case. After that we will go after malaria and measles. Malaria kills over 500,000 kids every year, mostly in Africa, and it did not get enough attention until the last decade. We also need vaccines to prevent HIV and TB, which are making progress.
What is the greatest achievement of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in your opinion, and how do you choose which causes to support?
So far, our biggest impact has been getting vaccines for things like diarrhea and pneumonia out, which has saved millions of lives. Polio will be a great achievement along with key partners when that gets done.
Is Weezer still your favorite band?
Weezer. Actually, U2 is a favorite. I keep waiting for Spinal Tap to go back on tour.
What's your worst fear for the future of the world? Edit, I terms of policy / politics / etc., for example SOPA / E2.
Hopefully we won't have terrorists using nuclear weapons or biological weapons. We should make sure that stays hard. I am disappointed more isn't being done to reduce carbon emissions. Governments need to spend more on basic energy RAN to make sure we get cheap non-CO2 emitting sources as soon as possible. Overall, I am pretty optimistic. Things are a lot better than they were 200 years ago.
Did you ever own a Macintosh?
Microsoft does a lot of software for the Mac. I mostly use Windows machines, but from time to time I have tried all of Apple products.
What is your view on the world's reliance on crude oil, and will you be investing into researching other sources of energy?
I did a TED Talk about the climate crisis. Over time we have to dramatically reduce CO2 emissions, so using fossil fuels will require us to do carbon capture and sequestration. There has been far too little work on this. https://u.nu/pyuta.
How do you measure the success of the foundation? How does the foundation differ from other large philanthropic organizations? Thanks for all that you and Melinda have done and continue to do.
Our goals are focused on helping the poorest, globally, and improving education in the U.S. We spend half of our money on global health. One metric to look at is reducing the number of children, under 5, who die. My annual letter talks about the amazing progress that has been made on this. Amazingly, as health improves, families choose to have less kids, so paradoxically population growth goes down as you improve health, helping with almost every issue, from stability to the environment. The Rosling video I posted on Sunday talks about this. Link expired.
Mr. Gates, I was happy to see you last year at the Math Strategy Group at Sunnylands. My question is, how do you see technology enhancing mathematics education without actually replacing it?
The ability to test your knowledge and get refreshed on a topic you are making mistakes on will personalize a lot of the learning experience. People like Sal Khan are out in front figuring out how to do this well. My foundation has funded a lot of MOOCs focused on community college kids or kids who have to take remedial math. I am optimistic these will make a big difference.
Hi Bill, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on Windows 8. Do you think in general it has failed? I'm not saying it has, but there are people saying it is not good, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
It is a huge advance for Windows, which people will see even more as the great applications and hardware come out.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.